Yo, it's Pearly. And I kind of sorta did a thing to my hair. It's bright ass red now. When you can only part your hair to one side and have it look good. Okay, so today I'll be telling you some spooky stories, cause like Halloween and shit. Also, I like ghost stories. So, my first scariest story is called The Russian Sleep Experiment. And when I was first told this, I was told it was a true story. It's not. Just making that clear. No, this experiment was never done. The Russians did many bad experiments, though, that were basically torture. Okay, so the Russian sleep experiment was they had these prisoners from war, and criminals, and they just brought them into this room, and they filled the room with this gas that makes you unable to fall asleep. So they were seeing how, what would happen to people if they were kept asleep for, how long would it take for someone to die if you kept them asleep for long enough? I mean, not asleep. So, for a couple days it was fine, but on the 10th day they started screaming. And then on the 30th day, everything went silent. And they had speakers in the room. There were no actual people in the room. There was also food and couches and places for them to sit and stuff. They just couldn't sleep. And so it went completely silent. And they were like, the fuck? And then on the 35th day, they had been silent for 5 days. So they decided to go in and check if they were dead. So they walked in, and they weren't dead. They were just sitting, and they said, we want to stay here. All at the same time, creepy as fuck. We want to stay in here. You can't make us sleep. We're staying. And then they went out of the room, locked it, and turned off the gas. And they went fucking batshit. Started screaming, started ripping off their own skin, started ripping out their organs and stuffing them down the drain. Crazy shit. Most of them died, but 2 stayed alive. And when they walked in, their skin had been ripped off and was bleeding, and they would half of their jaw was ripped off and shit. And they tried to attack them, and they're like, give it back, put it back in, give us the gas. Because they were addicted, and they didn't want to fall back asleep. And then the scientists killed them because they didn't think that they should be allowed to live any longer. So that's the Russian sleep experiment. It's one of my favorite stories. And now I'm gonna tell you jokes. That was dark as fuck. Okay, so once upon a time, this old man and this little boy walk into a forest. And the little boy is all, I'm scared. And then the old man's all, you're not even the one who has to leave here alone. And then he's like, oh. And then the old man murdered the little boy. Wow, light. Ha 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 ha. I like dark jokes. I don't know. But another ghost story that I really like is the Black-Eyed Children. So, there are these children, and they knock on your door in the middle of the night. And as soon as you hear the knock, you get this, nauseous, dizzy feeling. And then, if you do open your door, you feel there's a woodpecker, right on a tree. It's really pretty. But right as you open the door, if you see their eyes, you feel the world's spinning, you're having a panic attack, you're gonna die, and you get really, really scared. and they ask you to come inside your house. And if you do let them in your house, then they can kill you and like destroy your life. So that's fun. The video is about to end, but yeah, I had fun telling you a couple of my favorite ghost stories. I am gonna do another one of these.